For that reason, I believe that for the next 6 months in 2025, the first 6 months, Bitcoin will have to fight to protect our 77,000 level, which means we cannot roll down, get rejected, and start closing weekly candle below the 77,000 level. What we can do is try to probably can get a week toward this area, a very quick week, and then uh, a huge push to the upside, and just to flash, all the excitement that was in the market when we had the fear and greed index above 80s and 90s. So, which means now we are actually consolidating, and if we got rejected at 110, we must look to protect our 77,000 level. It could be a very long and tiring market movement. It could be a very violent move to the downside and quick recovery to the upside. Anything is possible. The only thing Bitcoin is going to have to do for the next 6 months is to protect our 77,000 level. And hello guys, welcome to NX with your new video. And in this video, I'm going to give an update on the price of Bitcoin. So basically, to talk a little bit about the past few weeks. It's been a while since we last update on this data, and I reckon was on this week where we had a flash crash with a huge push to the upside, but could not hold and basically came to retest our 77,000 level. So as you guys may remember, I've been talking about the possibility of Bitcoin. I think we were rejected. I think when Bitcoin got rejected around 110,000 level, we were thinking about the possibility for Bitcoin to come and retest our 77,000 level. And I mentioned that the most important thing was to Bitcoin avoid closing candles below the 77,000 level. So it's been a while now, and you can see for the past 2 months that Bitcoin did not close one candle below this level. So we have a few weeks, piercing this level, but we can see that there's a huge push to the upside, and we'd follow through, and being this weekly candle close one of the best close in a few weeks. So we have this kind of close, and guess what's happening? As you guys may already notice, Bitcoin is forming another downward channel. In this case, it's a bit smaller compared to this one, but we can see what Bitcoin is doing at the moment. So I believe in beginning of January 2025, we made a video saying that this was a possibility, and what we were expecting for Bitcoin to do next after retesting our 77,000 level. So far, you can see forming this downward channel is quite bullish. We can see that we are on the second half of this channel, meaning we are holding the middle of this channel as resistance, but a push above this level with a weekly candle close could allow Bitcoin to actually retest the top of the channel and most likely break it and start holding as support. If this happens, we know this is basically what happened here, holding support, breaking the middle of the channel, found resist at the top, broke, found support, confirmation, and pushed to the upside. This is basically what we want, what we expect to happen. And the most important thing is that these will have to finish before the end of this time frame. So the 6-month time frame that we've been following, as you guys may know. So past more than roughly 4 months, we already retested our 77,000 level and are preparing to start pushing upward before this date, which is the 23rd of June 2026. So when the 6-month time frame will finish. One interesting that we have to mention is that it is great to see that all in 77,000 level, we can see what happened to the DXY. The DXY is closing weekly candles with at least 4% of loss. In this case, losing strength 4% a week in 1 week. With this week close being the second biggest candle so far for the DXY. This is really important to mention because if you look back, last time we had such a big candle on DXY, it was around -4%. Around -4% is an indication that something big is happening with Bitcoin. So this candle, -4%, happened exactly when Bitcoin bottomed around 15,000. So this was an indication that Bitcoin was bottoming, and two candle with the same structure and depth around 4% is an indication that this downward channel and our 77,000 level could be a very important level of support for Bitcoin for the future. Going back a little bit more, we can see last time the DXY had a -4% on the weekly candle. Was exactly when we had the 2020 market crash, and this was a signal that we could have paid attention or could pay attention or could analyze to see what could happen next for Bitcoin. So having DXY being volatile, losing more than 4% in 1 week could be a sign that we are nearing a local market bottom. So this is not just the candle, but you can see the close. The close is below, far below this 200-week moving average. This blue line is a 200 weekly moving average. And we can see last time we closed below this candle, stayed there for a few weeks, This is where Bitcoin basically managed to bottom on this downward channel and then push to the upside. And most likely the same thing is happening again, and with more momentum to the downside. With considerable momentum to the downside, we can see that the DXY not only closed below the 200-week moving average, it also closed below its own upward channel. Every time the DXY closed below this channel, you can see here, start closing candles below the channel, outside the channel, is basically when we could be expecting the acceleration momentum to the upside. We can see the same thing happening here as well. The same thing happening here. Closing weekly candles below the 200 moving average actually push Bitcoin to upside, or cause Bitcoin to enter the acceleration mode. So whether we're gonna whether the DXY is going to, continue to consolidate below this channel and below the 200 weekly moving average, we don't know. But this is a close. This is an indication that it is likely that it's going to stay there for a while. And with this push to downside, we can see that the super capital indicator already switched from green to silver, which is great news. What we want to see is if you're going to continue on the silver or continue to push a little bit further down to allow the super capital indicator to finally turn from silver to red. So it's going to take a while. We don't know how long or how many weeks it's going to take, but we can see that it already started, and this downward channel could be an indication that a push to the upside with DXY in such a position could be an indication for Bitcoin to push to the upside. On the DXY Bitcoin ratio, we can see that this break of the RSI breaking this downward channel, this downward trend line to the upside. You already know that I'm considering this to be a fake out. The same way, every time Bitcoin wants to start the acceleration process, there is a fake out. It happened here once before it accelerate to the upside. Happened in 2020 before it accelerated to the upside. And I think that this is the case because even though the other side broke this downward trend line to the upside, we can see that the ratio is still respecting the 50-week moving average. So the 50, we cannot have the ratio crossing above the 50-week moving average. Otherwise, this could be the beginning of a much bigger correction, and most likely bear market. You can see when the ratio breaks the 50-week moving average to the upside is a sign that we're going to for bear market or further correction. The same thing happened here when it broke this 50-week moving average, was a confirmation for bear market. So you can see that Bitcoin is at the moment at a level, and this ratio is at a level that it cannot go further up or cross this 50 moving average. The only thing he needs to do right now is to get far away from it as possible, as far as possible, and avoid any cross to the upside, and so far we don't have any cross. With this weekly candle close, we don't have any cross to the upside, so that means we are in a very critical level at the moment. Crypto fear and greed index, we can see last time we update you, we had fear, extreme fear around 10. We also told you that having fear such a low level is an indication that the market could not go further down, and we can see why, because every time the fear and greed index is around these levels, we are basically very close to the bottom or local bottom on any correction on Bitcoin. So at the moment we are 45. We've been at this level for a while. When we were dealing with levels such as below the 77,000 level, this is when we managed to have fear and greed index around 10, or an extreme fear. So these kind of close for this week, what we want to see happening is for this weekly candle close to continue to push to break the middle of this downward channel and try and close this week above or on the second on the upper side of this channel, which would be bullish. That means that we broke this first resistance. You can see we've been here for like 5 weeks. Final resistance is exactly here. But if you break this level to the upside, the only thing that we need to see is the 90,000. Next resistance would be the 98 and 90,000 US dollars. And breaking this level, most likely we're gonna have to retest 110 and the middle of this major upward channel, which being a level of great resistance. But with the momentum on the DXY to the downside, the DXY is now currently below 100, which is a value that we don't see since when basically we don't see this value since the beginning of the bear market in 2020. So having the DXY around this level is an indication that we could see Bitcoin pushing further up. So that's the update for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and sharing this video with your friend and family. And I will see you next week. Bye.